Mike's Daily Podcast.
Want to hear my impression of a Muse song? Wow, 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 wow. Thank you. This is episode 1577. I like Muse, by the way. 1577. They incorporate some interesting sounds.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That I am familiar with, for I grew up in the 80s. Today, we hear from John Deere, the engineer, Floyd the Floorman.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Floyd the Floorman. Chely Shoehart, 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 John Deere, the engineer. Wow, wow, wow. I'm not doing a super secret Sunday show now. I'm doing a Super Friday show. It's Friday, everybody, and I hate ZipRecruiter.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Because they're always emailing me, even though I hit unsubscribe every single time. They keep spamming me.
Daily.
You got mail.
Podcast.
And I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
But it's the chore. It's the lot I've been dealt with in life. They tease me with their stupid podcast job, producer job that I applied for 99% invisible. Hi, I'm Roman Mars. Let's look at Roman columns today. Let's look at awnings today. Awnings. Yawning about awnings. Look who just walked in. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the chef supervisor. Meghan Markle's hot. She is hot. Yeah, but not in your gross man way. In a real royal sort of way. She's gonna be a princess or something. Yes. And she will be royal, yawning awnings. Look who else walked in and bumped their head. Oh! Hello, this is Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, I don't think you're going to be going down to Monterey tomorrow. No, it's going to be raining. It's going to be cold and windy. I don't think I'm going to do it, y'all. Greta's on C-SPAN. Greta Bronner. She is so lovely.
And here's today's podcast picture.
This is a fine-tuned machine.
This show. He's going to North Korea. Greta Bronner.
Machi.
Just so disturbed this morning after listening to The Daily by the New York Times podcast, which I guess they're going to start their own TV channel on the internet. But yeah, apparently this last podcast is all about how men in power buy off the women they have affairs with, either by offering them a non-disclosure agreement, or then they have their friends over at the National Enquirer or the Enquirer, whatever it's called, call up the woman and go, hey, we'll buy your story from you for this much money, and offer you, like they did with this one lady, her own fitness column. And so they go for it, and it's called catch and kill. So they catch the story and then they bury it. They never publish it. It's never published, and so all goes quiet, and nobody ever hears the story, and the woman's affair, or maybe she was harassed or whatever, that goes completely away. And that's kind of what you're seeing with certain events happening today. It's a very fascinating article. It was a story. I guess they're going to print an article since it's the New York Times, and they print things. But the podcast picture today has to do with an interesting time about 13 years ago, 12 years ago, when I was in Florida at EPCOT. And I posted this picture, published it on the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-1577-Awnings, because I've been watching this thing about EPCOT lately. And yesterday, as I sat in front of the TV, I don't watch Netflix. I'm not a Netflix guy. In fact, I am now a YouTube guy. I canceled Netflix just as they're about to increase the price. And this guy I work with, Massa, shout out to Massa. His name rhymes with NASA. And they shoot rockets into the sky. if you're Mr. Elon Musk, you put a little mannequin in a car on top of your rocket. That's not weird or anything, or completely inspirational or anything. Off into space. Da 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 da. I don't want to get dinged by YouTube, so I will not print. By the way, you can listen to this show on YouTube if you didn't know. There's a link at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Also, youtube.com/MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST is where you can hear it. So, I'd never heard of this ride called the Motion. It's called
on the open road.
That's Gary Owens. Gary Owens has died. He's no longer with us, but he had this perfectly modulated voice. And so this was a ride called the World of Motion. General Motors, who actually made the car that I drive, they own Saturn. And so I drive a Saturn.
Great boilers of steam change our sails to paddle wheels.
So this is the weirdest ride. And they don't make Saturns anymore. Just so you know. If you didn't know that, well, I just taught you something. So this ride, World of Motion, it is in what used to be in Florida at EPCOT. They took it out to put this super speedy car test ride type thing where you zoom around like a testing facility. And it has sort of the technology that they use on Indiana Jones, where the car stops and starts and is sort of mechanically inclined remote. And I'm going to start saying sort of. But the World of Motion was put together by the same guys. They were just about to retire. The same guys that put together Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion, Trip Through Inner Space. They had this idea of, we'll make this comedic, lots of audiometronics, those robot things that look like people, like they have on Pirates of the Caribbean. And lots of comedy, they're trying to teach the history of transportation, how it all started with the wheel, and first we walked, but then there was the wheel, and then there was, we were riding animals as well, horses and elephants.
Romantic way to enjoy it. Then with that infallible combination of man and machine, the bicycle.
Talking about bicycles, and it is the strangest ride because there's all kinds of non-PC sort of things going on. What am I talking about? And I'll stop saying sort of. There's slavery, people in chains in this. There's there's a lot of being mean to animals. I don't know if you're going to be sensitive about animals and how they are treated, but just about every scene with the audiometronics, there's somebody trying to push a cow or some animals getting abused in some way, but it's supposed to be all for comedic effect. At any rate, it does not exist anymore. This ride is gone. But it reminded me of EPCOT. When I went twice, and the last time was over a decade ago, and this is a picture from it. I think this is the building that houses all their plant innovations and hydroponics before that got really big. They were doing it at Disney before it became all over Oakland. And hydroponics is what you have there in that interesting, pyramid, sort of mirrored pyramid thing. And you can see that picture now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. But they had this song. I was trying to find you the song that they had on this ride, where it was called It's Great to Be Free. And it was sort of in the vein, I'll stop saying sort of, of Yo-Ho, Yo-Ho, and the same guy, X Atencio is his name. He wrote the song for the Pirates of the Caribbean and for the Haunted Mansion. Grim Grinning Ghosts about to socialize. He came up with this song but Gary Owens here. It's fun to be free. That was their song. And that's what I wanted to tell you about that, and how I don't get Snapchat. I know you like to use Snapchat, some of you, and I have an account, but I don't have it on my phone, so I never see it.
Oh, snap.
And someone that I work with who doesn't communicate with me very well, he said, well, I'd communicate with you better if you were on Snap. Yeah, right. What's easier than a frickin' text? What the hell? Text comes with all the phones, so just text me. He's Mr. Excuses. So, how dare you, Jeff Sessions? Jeff Sessions, formerly a senator of Alabama, now our attorney general, is suing my state of California. How dare you, Jeff Sessions, go after my Jerry Brown? That's not nice. So that happened a couple days ago. I mean, he is I wish I was in California, California, California. I wish I was in California. Jeff Sessions can just jump out. He's suing over the sanctuary cities. Hey, I got a new hat. Yes, thank you. I know you're excited to hear that. And if you're not, then I apologize for bringing up my hat. And I would just like to say...
Sorry.
But, no, my hat... Oh, you like it? Good. Yes, I got a hat online. It looks... It's a snow hat because I'm bald. I need to have my head covered all the time. And it's black, but it's got these little white specks in it. It looks like I washed my hat with a bunch of Kleenex. I don't know if I don't think I'm making a fashion statement too well with this hat. And finally, I just unfriended someone on Facebook because, speaking of the South, they are apparently in the South. They're from California, and they're in the South, and they're going, oh, people are nicer here. And for the same amount of money that I'm paying for my apartment, I can buy like a huge mansion. I want to move here. Well, just go. Just go. I'm not unfriending her over that, but over the fact that, like, whenever she posts something, it always goes to the top of my feed, and I don't want to see her stuff. And if I do reply, if I do make a comment under her post, she never replies to it. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this Facebook game.
Drop the just Facebook.
So there you go, Snapchat and Facebook. You can shove it, social media. By the way, you can find me on Facebook.com/MIKEs-DAILY-Podcast. We're also on Twitter at Mike Talks is my handle. Mike Talks, because that's what I'm doing apparently, to some effect, some effort. But Trump is going to go to North Korea.
His eagerness to meet President Trump as soon as possible. President Trump appreciated the briefing and said he would meet Kim Jong-un by May to achieve permanent denuclearization.
Wow! Freaking wow! Did you expect that to happen? Did you think he was actually going to do that?
Wow.
That's crazy.
We had to make the move, and we decided to make the move.
So that happened, and that's in the news. How much time do I have? Do I have any more time? Let me look to my producer off stage left. Do I have any more time, producer person? Yeah, I got a little bit more time, so we'll wrap it up. Black Panther star Michael B. Jordan. You remember him also from the Fantastic Four, the reboot that they tried to do, and it failed miserably. You just can't make a Fantastic Four movie for some reason, even though Jessica Alba... Wow! But Michael B. Jordan, he is red hot right now, speaking of hot, and he's using that status to further diversity. He is taking up a challenge issued by Frances McDormand at the Oscars during her speech to adopt inclusion writers. An inclusion writer requires producers to cast actors who represent the demographics of where the film takes place, including considering actors' gender, race, sexual orientation, and physical abilities. The writers could also stipulate that producers try to hire a diverse behind-the-scenes crew to make it even more inclusive. I heard they did that with that new, what's that show on Netflix about a superhero, that woman, Jenny Jones. apparently they were very inclusive in the making of that show. And apparently, and they're trying to get people to watch it because it's getting released like now. Hey, Kristen, what's her name's in that? The show is all about women, and it was directed by women. So women. International Women's Day was yesterday. The clause has been championed by the Annenberg Inclusion Initiative, a think tank that studies diversity in entertainment at the University of Southern California's Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism, which I hear all the time on NPR. Made possible by the Annenberg Foundation. Yesterday, Jordan posted on social media, this was actually on Wednesday, that he would be including the clause in deals made with his company, Outlier Society. Obama, speaking of Netflix, he's in talks to make Netflix shows. According to the New York Times, the couple, he and his wife, Michelle, would make an exclusive content for the U.S. streaming site focused on uplifting stories. Then congressional Republicans are threatening action over the tariffs that Trump is imposing. He is excluding Canada, Mexico, possibly Australia. So you're welcome, mate. Republicans on Capitol Hill reacted angrily to Donald Trump's announcement and to my impression of an Australian yesterday that he is going forward with new tariffs on steel and aluminum, arguing that the move will harm the economy and that it threatens to start a broader trade war. So there are limits to what they can do about it. Members are contemplating measures that could block the president from fully implementing his proposal. Trump is hoping that to use his steel tariff plan as a global bargaining chip, according to the Los Angeles Times. In doing so, the president swept aside a flurry of warnings from ally nations, companies, and lawmakers. Exactly what might be acceptable as an alternative wasn't spelled out, and Trump stressed that we're going to be very flexible. Trump suggested that Canada and Mexico would make their exemption permanent by agreeing to U.S. demands in the renegotiation of the North American Trade Agreement, NAFTA. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. I think we covered a lot of ground, similar to mud. Hey, a shout out to Kevin, who did the segment a couple times on the show called
Addenda with Kevin.
I believe he is in Kentucky, so that song I played a little bit earlier might pertain to him. But whatever pertains to you, I hope you have a wonderful day and that you stay the hell away from ZipRecruiter. The world's getting so small, isn't it? It is. I mean, you back up and you knock over a country. So you just got to be careful, and I'm glad that our president is reaching out. I know there might be all kinds of political situations that say that no, he shouldn't be doing that, but I'm okay with it at this point. Will I change my mind? We'll see. I'll keep you in suspense. I don't think... Am I going to do...
I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
But I believe in communication. I believe in frickin' texting me. Dang it. 336MM Daily. That's 336MM Daily. Enjoy your day. No Super Secret Sunday show, but hopefully we will be back on Monday with more observations, stories, and songs that are okay. Maybe a little bit of Muse. Wow. You're welcome.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!